first of all started my career as an engineer. So in engineering, we solve problems. We sometimes don't think of how we solve the problem. We just solve problem. So we try to think of the easiest way to solve a problem. If that doesn't work, you apply the next one. If that doesn't work, you apply the next one. But for me, in the process of solving problem, I discovered that I didn't just want to solve problems of systems, which engineers do. I was always moved to solve problem of people. And to do that, it required some form of communication, servant leadership, organizing, planning the way you do things, looking out for risk. And I did some research. What role would speak more towards this? And I found out that it was project management. And the thing is that I started project management in a way that I didn't even plan to become a project manager. I would say this is I one thing I know is if like I said before, Lord, please don't take me away from here if it's not yet time. Now the second prayer is God, push me away from here if it's time, even though I have fallen in love with this place. So that second prayer was what led me into project management because I started working with Huawei and I was receiving some individual honors from my boss. Oh, we love the way you were working, and but Huawei was downsizing at a time, and for reasons that I do not know, my name was included. I went to meet my boss, like, I am one of the best wireless engineers we have here. Like, my appraisals are always A plus, A. Why would my name be here? Even he could not explain why. And I went back to God. I said, God, I wanted to do 3 years in this company. Why are they letting me go in 2.5 years? And there are actually some benefits if you have gotten to 3 years. That was where my short sightedness was focused on. And I prayed and asked and asked. God did not tell me anything. In fact, it was the more I was praying, I didn't hear anything until I stopped and I said, all right, I've been sacked. I've been sacked. I can't keep blaming you for this thing. What is the way out? There's somewhere in Psalm 23 that says, for thou hast prepared a table for me in the presence of my enemies. So if you read that place, two things come to your mind. There is a table and there are enemies. So which one do you focus on? If you focus on the enemies, you would not see the table. If you focus on the table, you don't even care if the enemies are around. In fact, the enemies were there because God had prepared a table. So I said, Lord, where is the table? This is after several weeks of quarreling with God for being sacked. It's like, God, okay, finally, where is the table? So, in doing some research, and a friend called and said, oh, there's one project management person. I didn't even have the money. I said, okay, fine. I spoke to my wife. I gathered the 150K. How much was my salary then? This was as at 2015 or so. Gathered the 150K, went to pay. And the truth is, 2 months after I did that training, a company in Sweden reached out to me and said they were looking for a project manager. And that was how I started my project management journey. Why, if I had stayed there to be complaining, God, why would they sack me at this time? And the truth is, I started working remotely 2017, even 3, 4 years before COVID, where people started working. So everything was like, and what I learned was that it was time for me to move, but I fell in love with the company. I fell in love with my short sightedness of I'm targeting 3 years, this benefit, that benefit. But the truth is, where I am today, if I was not sacked, I would not be where I am. In fact, That was where the whole project management thing started. I grew with the company. I still support the company, and here I am in a much more senior role. So if it did not start, so most times it's very difficult explaining my journey to people because I'm I don't know who is listening to this, but my spirit is telling me that about five people are still quarreling with God for something that they should sit down and just say, okay, no more quarrels. Where is the table? Some people have lost loved ones, some people have lost jobs, and they are still keeping malice with God. I learned something, and the thing is, when Jacob went to Egypt, Pharaoh told him one thing. Pharaoh said, "You look quite old. What's your age?" Jacob said, "I am 100 and something. But my pilgrimages, meaning my father Isaac and Abraham, my grandfather, they lived more than I. In fact, Jacob was 100 and something. Abraham started his life with his son at the age of 100. But Jacob was looking too old. And I said, Lord, what happened? And the answer was this: Jacob was mourning a Joseph that was still alive. He spent his entire life mourning somebody who was still alive, quarreling with God. Why would you let my son to die, my beloved son? Why would you? Whereas the person you're with God with, and this is the thing: if you don't ask God, is Joseph alive? He won't tell you. So this is why I encourage people to stop quarreling with God. Yes, you were sad. Yes, you've applied 500 jobs. You've gotten rejection. These are not reasons to be quarreling and saying things are not working. Sit down. Take your pen. Take your paper. Take your Bible. Take cup of coffee or this thing. Put your hands on your cheek and say, Lord, okay, enough of this malice. How far? Where are we going to? Like, show me the way. If he doesn't say anything first day, come back there. If he doesn't say second day, come back. If he doesn't say third day, come back. I know that the reason why he has not said anything, he wants whatever bitterness you have to melt. Because there's a place that says, be still and know. So if it takes you 4 days, 5 days, 7 days to be still, the moment you're still, he said, for they that know their God shall be strong and they shall do it. So for me, everything started when I stopped quarreling. So I stopped quarreling with God. He then showed me. And another thing I want people to know is that you that you're working with God does not mean you're not going to invest. So I didn't have the 150K, but I knew that He was pushing me to this. And my response in faith was to go for that training, even when I didn't feel like I had it. For 2 months after that, I am here. I don't even want to mention how much is the salary, or so that I don't make people to go in to start having high blood pressure and all of those things. But it's way, it's a full turnaround, and all of those things prepared me for coming into the United Kingdom the way that I came in. So it's just a way to encourage people who are still keeping malice with God. Go and settle. Is